Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. Want to welcome you back to another edition of Loyalty Live. In this series, as you know, we speak with the leaders in customer, channel, and brand loyalty about the technology trends and best practices that they're implementing as part of their client strategies to help their customers, their brands, drive deeper and more unique experiences, enhance engagement, and most importantly, drive customer loyalty. In the months of June and July, we embarked on a mini series of Loyalty Live sessions looking at the evolving customer experience space and how brands can meet and exceed these changing consumer expectations to achieve more brand loyal following and to make sure that they're driving that incrementally going forward in the months and years ahead. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Sumit Khandelwal, is the co-founder and CEO of xoxoday. They are a leading customer loyalty and engagement and incentive agency in India. So how are you, Sumit?
Doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me over here. And hope all your viewers are also keeping well amidst COVID.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much. We're trying to get through it. So one of the things we like to do when we start off these sessions is get to know a little bit more about you, what you do, your background, and maybe kind of a fun fact or a passion that you may have.
Sure. So I run this company, xoxoday, for the last 8 years now. And prior to starting this company, I used to work in the corporate world, handling sales and marketing roles with leading companies called as Metro Cash and Carry and Wipro. And my core strengths are more in sales, marketing, and I love to kind of while I was in the corporate world, I used to kind of handle channel as a part of the sales team, and that's where kind of one of the ideas seeded in, where why can we not build up a tech product which can really make it meaningful for companies to manage their channel incentive, customer incentive programs meaningfully in a very tech-friendly product manner. And that's when we started this company called as xoxoday. Beyond work, I I like to do running. I like to do biking, and that's something which I spend time over the weekends. And I do spend time reading. That's something which takes care of things which is beyond my adventure liking.
Okay, great. When you look at customer loyalty, the consumer expectation, consumer experience kind of has evolved pretty significantly. How do you see that consumer experience evolving kind of in your role leading as xoxoday?
Right. So I think it's customers have always been more demanding, and that's not something which kind of gets into an inertia. This is something which is continually evolving. And when you look at the way things have evolved, and that's something which has evolved drastically in the last 24 odd months, is the increasing demand of digital products, increasing demand of products which you can really look at availing while you're working at home. And so when brands have to really look at engaging with their customers, they have to really look at how best they are able to make it meaningfully, how best they are able to do personalization, how best they are able to do that at a scale which can only happen when you use technology interim and when you're running a program for that. When you look at the way our customers have been working, I think pre-COVID and post-COVID, the era has totally changed. So what has happened is companies, brands, which were earlier engaging with customers by doing more events offline, things which used to be more physical in nature, running customer incentive programs, customer loyalty programs, which had a lot of aura around a face-to-face, a meetup, has now really moved to an era where people are not really meeting. And then when the brands had to really think about ways to engage with the customers in this world, they're now thinking of very superior formats, right? And so take an example, companies are thinking of in the digital ways. When I'm actually asking customer to come online for attending a webinar or a talk, is there a way that I can actually incentivize customer in a meaningful format which they're able to avail? So let's say, how is it that I can actually do a coffee voucher or a meal online when people are engaging with me on digital space, right? So that's the way where brands have started thinking of. Second, The type of options which people have been looking for rewarding or incentivizing their customers, that has also changed. This is not more that brands are looking at doing one of those swags as they used to do earlier, but they are thinking of that, can I do something which can be more utility based, which can be more digital, which can be more instant. That's something which has been so increasingly a demand of a lot of digital gift cards have been really picking up, where brands are looking at personalizing with gift cards. And last but not the least, the brands have been thinking of more experiential ways in which they can engage. Now, today, you cannot actually go out doing a dinner, or you cannot go adventure, or a brand will not really be able to do something which is wellness. But what they've started doing is are there some learning courses which can be offered to my customers who's really getting excited about it? Am I able to relate to my customers by offering them an incentive which could be more of, let's say, a yoga course which is happening digitally? Am I able to do something where they can actually do a chef session online, right? So I think the customer expectations have been changing, and when the customer expectations have been changing, the way the brands have been thinking of the whole horizon has been changing even faster. And in a two words, it's more digital, it's more personalized, and brands are looking at finding out ways to scale it in a fast format.
Okay. One of the challenges we see in our community, we have, 100 some brands that are members of Loyalty 360, and we meet with them on a pretty regular cadence. They sometimes have a hard time keeping up with technology or best practices, and sometimes they don't necessarily understand the importance of customer experience and how it's evolving because they have their day-to-day operations they're dealing with. How does xoxoday communicate and demonstrate the importance of customer experience to the clients that you work with?
So the biggest place where we're looking at differentiating ourselves from multiple our peers, multiple of our partners, and the industry altogether has been by the way you have been thinking of product and technology overall. Uh, the ways where companies have been working more as a services led approach, which means I do this for you, I do that for you, I do this for that customer, I build this product for one customer. That whole horizon we have really looked at and found a way which is more product centric approach. We say that brands can still be able to engage, make it meaningful, to offer the right kind of incentives for their customers, for their channel partners, by using a tech product which is catering to all of them together, which is offering one of the best tools which are required. And this has been built up over a period of time by a lot of brand insights. Most of the times when a brand manager or a customer experience manager is thinking of running some campaigns, they always think that my approach is the best way to do. That's where xoxoday comes in, where the product has been built up with a key stack that these are the best practices, this is the best way to do that. And we are very firm in terms of not personalizing it for every company, but saying these are the best practices. And if you use these practices with a lot of data and analytics, we are able to show what's the meaningful results which has been happening for companies in past, and how it will be able to help for the brands when they're running some campaigns through our platform. So product centric approach, very seamless, do it yourself modules as we have built up in the product. And then the type of rewards and incentives which are being offered to make the customer experience a lot more meaningful is the place where we're building up a big difference. And that's where we've seen a high adoption, high demand, and also managed to build in a lot of scale in a very fast forward manner for the company.
Okay. The need to utilize more technology is very important for marketers today. They with real-time personalized offers, messaging, transactions. How do you advise brands to help them deliver these memorable experiences via these disparate technologies?
Right. When you look at technology, and I think when you look at technology, there are multiple guys who also started getting involved. And what has been happening is, as the business of tech world evolved, the problem of many started coming in, which means if I am a customer, I'm actually getting multiple messaging by the same brand for multiple tools, and there's no coherence which is happening. Similarly, for the company which is running and leading out to a customer, they essentially are finding it tough to close where do I run a marketing campaign to where I run a channel program to where I run a customer engagement program, because there's a low integration or there's a low cohesion in the messaging which has been happening. So the way we have been thinking about it is a tool which you use for engaging with your customer or a practice which you would want to use. You should essentially look at an integration stack. What it means is you choose a product today. The choice of using a product for running any campaign should not be built on the ease of that product, but it should be built on the ease of that product getting integrated within tools which you've already been using. You cannot say that I will change my CRM tool, I would change my DMS tool, I would change my any other tool because my data, or I'll pull in data from one tool and put into something else. The way to do that is look at a product and look at a product which is thinking of solving your core problem, which could be built to around incentive, customer experience, personalization, type of rewards, kind of incentives. And these can easily get integrated with tools which you already have, or rather sits on top of it, so that what you've been doing has been upgrade to your existing solutions than really revisiting or building a new solution altogether.
Okay, interesting. A lot of times we hear about barriers to entry for those brands who have customer experience, customer loyalty programs, challenges in getting individuals involved. What can you advise, or how do you advise brands to kind of lower those barriers to participation in these respective programs?
So, my advice on that front is very straightforward. It's about don't one should not really uh, look at personalizing or to that extent. So you should look at personalization to the extent of 80-85% of your customers. You should not think of 100%, because the moment you start thinking of 100%, the latent 15% for whom you would want to personalize, for whom you would want to customize, for whom you would want to build in modules to make the program attractive, might make the whole product very complex. So what it means is you look at buckets, and you look at buckets that if I'm able to cater from a program or a campaign or an incentive structure, which is exciting for 85% of my audience, I'm rather I'm rather great in using it and offering that as a simple solution than really making a complex solution which is catering to almost 100% of my customers. Now, the way to do that is because tools today, when you look at more service-led approach, is where then it really becomes more complex because you look at taking care of 100%. But when you look at a product which is really catering to 85% with a lot of scale, lot of value, lot of meaningful insights, analytics coming out of it, that is where you really solve a problem for both the customer, and which is 85% of your customers, as well as a brand who is running of thinking of all the set of customers who they want to avail of. So my suggestion or recommendation is think about more customer centric products, more products which are really built up on a lot of insights captured by a lot of customers, data built up on it. Look at ways where you are able to engage effectively with your customers in a format which is integrated within the stack which you're already using it. These three things, if a brand or a customer or a company is able to take care of, the customer will really get excited of using a product and really get engaged or solve your core problem, which could be linked to your loyalty, which could be linked back to your engagement and many more.
Okay. When you look at kind of the challenges of in improving customer experience, encouraging retention, deepening loyalty across multiple channels, how does the brand effectively do that? You talked about kind of an effective technology stack. You talked about understanding the customers in a kind of a deeper level. How do you advise brands to leverage multiple channels to improve the customer experience?
I think the way to look at doing this problem is first to understand that the customer is evolving. Don't start believing the same fact that the customer needs and likes have been same, which means your whole focus of looking and building up a program should not be just thought about that I'm looking at doing loyalty for the sake of doing loyalty. Today, you cannot hold a customer by saying, hey, you do a shopping with me and I will give you a 10% cashback for your next shopping. Gonna do is because customers are really not getting excited by offering some of those awards, because the customer might say, I'm not really interested to buy something extra because you are offering me this. Today also is a scenario where customers are looking at instant benefit. instant reward for anything which I'm doing, which means gone are the days where I would say, hey, I would not want to run a cross promo because I would want to have the customer choose only thing from my store itself. So the approach with the brand, which a company, which a marketer has to follow, has to also start looking at. They should start thinking of broadening their approach than really being very short-sighted, which means you might always say that, hey, can I run a cross promo with something which is very similar to my competition, which is exciting, which you might almost never think about probably 10 years back because the customer is excited about it. Start thinking of a way that can I look at running some programs which is really looking at not the same old systems, which is can I do only that I build up a point system? No, you don't really need a point system to build a loyalty. What you can do is I would immediately give a reward at the time when somebody is completing a purchase. If the customer is happy with the product is delivering, people will still come back to it. So the entire crux, the entire format of building a point system, loyalty because you have a point system, building a format where people come back to you and do only things from your rewards is something we'll have to really think of. You should start thinking of more customer first. And with the customer first, the customers are not no more getting excited of just speaking about loyalty. They're excited of what am I getting immediate, what am I getting which is meaningful. And then if I'm really excited about the product, I'll come back to you.
Okay, great. And the last question we have for you, Sumit, it's been great hearing your feedback so far. As you look at customer experience, the evolution we've seen today, how do you see it continuing to evolve the next 6 months, the next year? How are you advising your clients as to how customer experience will continue to evolve?
Honestly, this is the toughest question, Mike, given that the way COVID is changing always every 15 days or 3 months or 6 months. But the way what's been the simple suggestion which you've been doing is the customers who start thinking of digital first, product first, mobile first, personalization, and those are the things which should stay around even when the customers or when the market moves on to a better stage, which means start thinking of ways where you are able to look at simple tools which can be more meaningful, more easier, non very well dependent on agencies, but are having a lot of analytics and data which can really be meaningful for you to define the customer experience. Because the customer experience for Mike would be very different, or a Mark would be very different for what it would be for someone like a Mike who's sitting in some other part of the globe. So think about the customer more than just thinking about ways in which you would want to stick around with your old myths, old ways in which you've been doing things till now.
Okay, great. Well, Sumit, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. It's very interesting to hear what you guys are seeing and some of the things that you are advising your clients with regard to customer experience. Very, very informative.
Thanks so much, Mark, for taking time, and thank you so much for inviting me for this session.
Absolutely. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Look forward to having you back on another Loyalty Live session soon.